On November 19th, 2020, I posted my very first Christmas clean and decorate video. At the time, the only people subscribed to me were a few of my friends and family. So if I was going to post a video out into the world of my favorite holiday, then it had to be perfect. I quickly realized in the YouTube world, you have to get all of your Christmas decorating and videos up in advance. This way, people will watch your videos and implement your tips and tricks before they start decorating. I pulled out my 12-foot tree, already started decorating late for YouTube world, put it up, filmed everything, and bam, none of the lights but one strand worked. After that, it just became a snowball effect where one thing after the next went completely wrong. 2020 was already a rough year, and as excited as I was about this decorating, I knew it was going to be a bust. I just went with it, shared every single moment of my decorating, and posted the video. Little did I know, with a video that I thought just my mom would watch, turned into a video that has gained almost 500,000 views and jump-started my YouTube journey. Since then, I have learned how to be more organized, become a better parent, become a better homemaker, declutter my home, inspire thousands of people, and build this awesome community with each and every single one of you. So keep in mind this holiday season, even when it stresses you out, that nothing is going to be perfect. Nothing is supposed to be perfect, but it's going to work out exactly the way that it should. So regardless of how many Griswold moments you have this year, and you had to have watched that video to understand that term, just know that in the end, everything is going to work out exactly the way that it should. So let's kick off the holiday 2022 decorating, starting in my dining room. I'm going to be decorating the table, this space, putting up our 7-foot Christmas tree this way, right against the window. This way, whenever you're driving down our street and we have the blinds open, then you can see the Christmas tree in the window. That's always my favorite view. Last year was the first year that we did that. But then I'm also going to be decorating the guest bathroom Grinch style. The next 4 to 5 videos are all going to be my Christmas clean and decorate series. So if you're not subscribed, then I would love for you to subscribe. This way you don't miss any area that I decorate. I'm implementing a bit of color this year, changing up the living room space, which you'll see in next week's video. And also I will be going back to my mom's house and decorating her home as well. So I'm so excited to share with you guys everything that I have, how I'm decorating it this year, any tips and tricks to make your life easier when decorating, and you can always leave me a comment if there's something I didn't mention that you have a question on. So the last several minutes you saw me cleaning up this space as best as I can before I start pulling out some of the decorations in the attic.
Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the windows in the rain is pouring, it will always be Christmas in my heart. And family, making angels in the sand, you and me. Doesn't matter, it's Christmas in my heart. And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sun said it's just getting better.
We have several attics in our home, obviously great for storage and decoration storage. So this is an attic that is upstairs, and this is where I keep our trees. And then the attic that you just saw in the garage is where we keep a lot of the outside decorations and just all other decorations. We plan to go through that and become a lot more organized with our decorating. So once this is over, I'm going to use my elephant track system to label and make our Christmas decorations a lot more organized. I started using that system, I want to say in the summertime when I started, in the springtime when I'm putting away all of our spring stuff. So as each season comes and goes is when when I'm putting stuff away, that's when I plan on doing more of the organizing. But the tree that I'm putting up now is a 7-foot tree that I purchased last summer. Yes, I purchased in the summer because it was like 50% off from King of Christmas. And one thing that I try to always check is if the lights work, because I don't want to put up the entire tree and then none of the lights work. So that's what I'm doing now. And then the next step is to go through and fluff out your tree. So last year I saw a friend who had just so happened to watch one of my how to decorate your Christmas tree videos, and she said, "Oh, I didn't know you were supposed to fluff out your tree like that." So I am sure to mention it every time, and I like to do it layer by layer, but I think it also depends on the type of tree you have. Like if you have one of those spruce Christmas trees where the branches point downwards, or if you have one of those simple Christmas trees, I like to think of them like little Charlie Brown Christmas trees. Those are trending right now. You probably don't have to fluff as much. For the type of trees I have, I like to make sure they're nice and full and fluff them out. So here's the top layer. Because this tree is 7 foot, I don't like getting on a ladder. I like to just get on it as minimal as possible. So I will fluff it out on the bottom layer first, put that one aside, and then put the middle layer back in. Most trees, or at least the ones that I have seen, are layered. So take advantage of this stand and fluffing out the tree, decorating the tree, and using the different layers without putting it all together and then trying to fill out the entire tree. You'll see my 12-foot tree, I can't even get to the top of the tree with the ladder that we have. So I decorate it in 2 different sections. But here, right now, I'm making sure that the way that the lights connect, they all work. And just a little funny story. The top of the tree, I could not get the connections right. I don't know why. This tree is a little bit weird, as in there's like several different types of connections. It's not just one simple plug-in. And I could not get the top of the tree of the lights to work. And after this day, I kind of like threw in the towel, and I had Chris, I'm like, I can't think anymore. The top of the tree doesn't work, and I just bought this tree last year. So I don't know what to do. I guess I'll just put lights in it. It'll look janky. I don't know. So later that night, he went in and was like, you have all of these connections wired wrong. So thankful for him to fix that. And then we got the entire tree up and lit up.
Let's go outside, the snow is falling down and every child is having so much fun. The snowman is twice the size as me.
So I have specific steps that I use to decorate my tree to make my life so much easier. I add extra lights to just about every tree, and in this tree in particular, I'm adding these cascading LED lights. I have 2 videos that talks about how to decorate a Christmas tree, including this Christmas tree I decorated last year, as well as my other 12-foot Christmas tree, which I will link both of those videos down below. These cascading lights I purchased at a store here in Houston that is kind of a wholesale store, and I have had difficulty finding them online. So that's one of the bad things about, I guess, what I do is I like to find out like these wholesale stores, or we've even drone to Round Top, Texas to go to this one store, Paul Michael, and get a lot of stuff. But with that, it makes it so hard to find some of this stuff online. So I apologize, but I'm going to try and find very similar things to that and link them as much stuff as I possibly can. But the lights are going to be the biggest thing. So these cascading lights are great because they're simple. You don't have to wrap them around the tree like I will my other tree, because that takes a lot of time. But because these strands are so thin, they do get easily tangled. I do not remember last year if I struggled with them, but I do know that this year when I started unfolding them and going down to the bottom, they were getting extremely tangled, and it actually was really frustrating. And it took me a while to like weed everything out and get it perfect. And I do apologize, it's kind of like strobe light because I have this video fast forward, so it looks like it's blinking really fast. But here's what I mean, where I got these lights pretty tangled at the very bottom of the tree. I think they kind of run around 9 feet long, and since this is a 7-foot tree, what I do is just kind of weave them in and out. But yes, here I did struggle quite a bit, but eventually I got it all worked out. But I am using I'm using two of those, one for half of the tree, and then I will go around and do the other half of the tree with the other strand.
This day with you. Let me give you a Christmas moment we'll fill with love and joy. It's so beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you.
Another thing about these lights is that they will only stay in this blinking mode, so you can't just turn them on and have them on, and you can't change the setting. So it's just kind of a one thing deal. Another thing is that if the lights go out, then there's no fuse or anything like that to fix them. But they still work from last year. So unless anybody knows a better way, then I would just have to toss them and get some new ones. The next step that I do is add ribbon. So I also have a more in-depth video about adding ribbon to your Christmas tree, and in my Christmas how to decorate a Christmas tree video, I talk a lot about the ribbon, how to cut it, the way that I cut it, and everything like that. So this is the color scheme that I use on our main tree, and it is a lot of gold, silver, and white. So what I plan to do in this room is use my gold, silver, and white in this area, and then I was going to implement more color in my main tree. So I do not know how that tree is going to turn out, but I got a lot of new stuff for it, and I think that adding red is going to make it pop so much more. But all of my ribbon was already pre-cut into between 12 and 18 inches. Now, this ribbon was made for my 12-foot tree. So these ribbon, you can see, is a lot longer. So what I'm doing here is I'm doubling it up to give it a more dramatic look. And then I'm looping it in twice. So on my main tree, I only did one loop. And here, because it's a smaller tree, I am doing 2 loops. Any of the bigger or longer pieces I'm going to add to the bottom, and any of the pieces that are a lot shorter, then I'm going to add those to the top. That's also the same method you should use when you have your Christmas balls. Any of the bigger size balls you would put closer to the bottom, and then any of the smaller ones you can add closer to the top. When picking ribbon, I like to pick different sizes, textures, and colors. This way it will just give the tree lots of drama. Now, you obviously don't have to, because it really just depends on the look that you're going for. But one of the advantages of cutting the ribbon, so especially if you buy, because ribbon can get pretty pricey, so especially if you buy really good quality ribbon, you don't have to use as much, because you don't have to weave it all the way from top to bottom. You can just pick sections of the tree where you see any kind of holes or gaps, or just where you think it's going to look nice, and then add it to that section. If you do decide to double layer it, then you can pull it apart to make it look thicker, or if you have different sizes, you can always use the thicker piece on the bottom, the thinner piece on top, and just layer it that way. And then in that case, you probably would not be pulling it apart. The way that I wrap it in the tree is just to use the branches that are already there. Take a branch loop and just wrap it around. If you add picks to your trees, which is the next step that I do, then you can always add a pick right in between where one of those branch loops tied onto the ribbon. But I think for now, I'm good with this amount of ribbon on this tree. My next step, after I have put up the tree, fluffed it out in different layers and sections, put the lights on the tree, add the ribbon to the tree, is to add any of your picks or sprays, which are these long pieces. So if you add the long pieces to the top of the tree, it can make your tree look almost a foot taller, depending on how tall your picks are and then how many you add. So for example, this is a 7-foot tree, and my window is closer to 9 feet, I believe. So I'm just adding it to about the top of the window. That way you can see the entire tree from the outside of the window. But also keep in mind your ceiling height. So if you have, let's say, 9-foot ceilings, I would not recommend getting a 9-foot Christmas tree or even an 8-foot Christmas tree, because you need some space for the stand and also anything that you add to the top of the tree. But once you've added all of your picks throughout the tree, then the next thing would be to add any specialty type ornaments, or let's say like non-ball ornaments. Fill in the gaps of your trees with all of those special ornaments, the ones that have the most memories to you, the ones that are unique and different. And then your final step would be to add your ball ornaments. And of course, when you need ornament hooks, this is by far one of my worst pet peeves. This is what always happens. So I pull some out, I shake it, and then I'm able to add these to the tree. So when you have a full tree with different types of things in your tree, then you don't have to buy as many ball ornaments. And one of my biggest tips when adding the ball ornaments is add them in your tree. Don't just hook them on the very edge, because it's going to make them like pop out. I do that a couple places, but for the most part, I like to add them inside the tree. So I'm going to work on the table next, but I will show you guys the tree in a minute. I end up changing some things on the tree. So when I go to the store, come back around, finish adding some color to it, then I'll show you guys what it looks like. Last year I added red to this area, and I plan to do the same as well as throughout the whole house. The red Christmas tree berries. So I'm going a lot with the berry theme this year. I purchased a lot of berry type stuff, so I'm hoping that everything turns out good, which I think this room did turn out great. But those berry trees I got from At Home, as well as the wreaths that you'll see in just a minute. I played around with the table for a while, trying to like mix and match and how I wanted it to be. I kind of wish I had more of the small tree so I could make this look like a pretty Christmas tree farm, but those little small trees are either from the Dollar Tree or Target. I cannot remember exactly where I bought them, but I'm adding just one of these berry picks in the center of this candle holder just to tie in all the berries on the table. The next thing I'm going to do is add these red berry wreaths to the center of the mirror type pictures that I have in the dining room. So one of my tricks is that Pinterest is a good source, but sometimes Pinterest can be a little overwhelming. But I'll start getting ads to like expensive decor stores like Pottery Barn, West Elm, Balsam Hill, all of these places. And sometimes, you know, the prices can be a little bit pricey. So I will try to mimic the design that they have in their area with what I want in my area. So I went and bought these 3 berry wreaths from At Home, and they had a beautiful picture, and I cannot for the life of me remember where I saw this or what store it was from, but they had tied the long ribbon around it and make it look like, instead of like having a wreath hook or just like tying it to a nail, they had this elegant ribbon that went around it just like this. And then I've seen it, they've had it from their kitchen cabinets. Maybe you know the ad that I'm talking about, but I've also seen it on the Ken Woven channel. Rebecca Robeson is an interior designer at the Ken Woven channel. I use a lot of her tips and tricks as well, but they have it tied to windows as well. So here I decided to take that look, tie the ribbon around, and then make it kind of look a little bit more elegant than if it were just sitting on that mirrored picture itself. So with just a little bit of ribbon, it changed up the look of this room, and I am loving the way that it is turning out so far. But because the Christmas tree seemed a little bit plain and didn't tie in, I decided to add these little berries throughout the tree just to kind of complete the entire look and, like I just said, tie everything together. So I'm not adding a whole lot of color to this tree. I want the main focus to be kind of the whole vases and the Christmas trees on the table, but then adding that pop of color to the tree itself. And there is Rye. Can you guys believe he's 3 months old already? This will be his first Christmas, and I am so excited. One of my favorite things to do for Christmas is to go to places that have like big light shows, or to drive around neighborhoods, some of the best neighborhoods that have the best Christmas lights up. I love Christmas lights. I love looking at the creativity that people come up with and all the different themes. It is by far one of my favorite things about the Christmas and about Christmas decor. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know your favorite thing about Christmas. So here's a completed tree without the lights on. As you can see, it is shades of gold, silver, and white with those pops of berries in there. Here are the berry wreaths with the ribbon tied with them, and also the table. I'm going to do is the guest bathroom. If you are throwing any holiday parties or hosting anyone for the holidays, then the guest bathroom is one of the most used spaces in your home. So just adding a few decorations can help your guests also feel the spirit. Thanks to Costco and their bulk soap, I have actually already had that soap in there for about a year. It came with like a huge 4-pack, and then my mom gave me some extra ones, so we had a ton of Christmas soap. But last year I decorated our guest bathroom Grinch theme, and I'm going with it again this year. The Grinch is such a classic movie, and the girls absolutely love it. So all of my Grinch decorations are from Hobby Lobby. And I mean, come on now, this statement couldn't be more true. But I'm going to pull out all of my bathroom decorations and go ahead and work on creating the space. I realized I had too much small of that like tabletop decor because I didn't have that little Christmas tree last year. So I ended up ordering this sticky putty from Amazon. I actually used it. I'm going to use it at my mom's house for some of her string lights, but it's supposed to be really thick hold. It had awesome reviews. It's not supposed to tear the paint off your walls. And I am trying it out for the first time, and I'm just sticking it to this so I can stick those to the walls without putting nails in the wall. And so far, it's held up great. Here is the completed guest bathroom with just a couple of things. I've transformed it into a fun Grinch space. But thank you guys so much for joining me and kicking off the 2022 seasonal decor video series with me. Make sure you click that red subscribe button. There is lots more fun coming. and click that bell notification so you'll know exactly when a new video comes. Take a quick moment of gratitude and happy decorating. I'll see you guys next week.